start a Conrail, so kind of appropriate there. Are they just not getting what they need from Haynes Allen? Got a green light up here at Hampton. I don't know, maybe there was some kind of issue. Well, at least let the video run a few minutes, see if we hear some radio calls about whatever the issue is. Train 172 runs out of New Orleans, Louisiana, terminates in Linwood, where the cars are divided up onto classification tracks for cars going other places, including those cars coming back to Greenville, which come back on train 173. Used to be 348, that's been a recent change. 348's been changed, their routes mostly just in Georgia up to Chattanooga now. They used to go all the way from Linwood down into Georgia and then up to Chattanooga and Atlanta. Now they've got 173 originating in Linwood, going down to Sheffield, Alabama, I believe. And I'm wondering if that's to take some of the pressure off 153. 153 is a mixed freight from Linwood to Birmingham, Alabama, and they're usually pretty long, and they have a fair amount of extras on 153 to make up for that. And I'm wondering if by having 173 going all the way down into Alabama, that they're taking some cars that might have otherwise ended up on 153. Just a thought. But anyhow, one of the places that 173 stops is Greenville, and they bring cars, any cars that are coming from the Gulf Coast that interchange on the Norfolk Southern New Orleans typically go to Linwood and come back on 173. Tend to see an awful lot of chemical industry stuff on 172, as a lot of the Gulf Coast industry is the chemical industry, petrochemicals. You can see right there, there's a tank car there. We've got 4 compartment covered hopper cars. Often these contain plastics. I noticed the second one on the
Clear 1, Hampton Avenue, 172.
The second covered hopper car there, built in 1980, it looks like the placard says, and it's built at ACF. ACF facility that built covered hopper cars at that time was in Huntington, West Virginia, which is the town I lived in for many years. That is no longer in operation. ARI now makes the type of covered hopper cars that ACF, they basically bought that business from ACF. So that's kind of sad for people at Huntington especially. Butadiene. A lot of tank cars, you'll notice if you get this close to them, actually do have what's in them on their side of the car. So it's simply painted on like that. It's pretty easy to read. Some of them you'd have to be able to read that little, I don't know, some of that little tank information, I think. I'm not sure. As I said, coming from the Gulf Coast, there are lots of petrochemicals. with the pneumatic outlets at the bottom, pneumatic unload outlet. But that's just what I always think of when I see this, because that's the industry I work in. XOMX 710 180. That's an Exxon Mobil XOM. XOMX 710 575. See, those covered hopper cars have a different type of unload outlet. There's only 3 hoppers, and they're painted carbon black, and I think that a lot of that carbon black is used in pigments, different things. So, I'm not sure. I think that might be exactly what the stuff that those are hauling is called, carbon black. 3-compartment grain type covered hopper cars. And the grain type covered hopper cars and the plastic industry covered hopper cars can also be sold apart when you're looking at the top. Grain cars have roof hatches the length of the car, so they can continuously load a line of grain cars down the hatches along the top in a row. Whereas in plastics cars, it's like generally there are 10 hatches on most of them. Some of them only have 8. The ones that have 10 hatches, there's 3 hatches on each of the end compartments, 2 hatches on each of the center compartments. And then you have the shorter covered hopper cars, where I haven't seen any 2 compartments on this grade. The 2 compartment ones typically have big 30-inch diameter hatch covers. And I think those carbon black cars even have a different arrangement than that. Like on plastic cars, those 10 hatches tend to be lined up in a row down the center.